This is David for Big Bits, and in this video, I wanted to say thank you for being patient. I've been sick with the flu the last couple of weeks, and I haven't been able to push out much content. I have since been able to resume this week, and there's going to be a new video out coming tomorrow. There has been a giveaway started. I just haven't been able to do anything with it. So starting today, the giveaway link is going to be in the description of the video. So if you want to have a shot at the $25 in Bitcoin giveaway, that will be in the description of the video with a URL on how to participate on that. It's completely free, so check that out if you can. As far as the last giveaway in January, that one went really well. There was tons of participation. The winner, I should say, contacted me back immediately, and the transaction went out. I posted that on social media, so if you were curious to see who won, you can check my social media, probably Twitter or Discord. I think I posted on both of those the actual transaction, and you can actually see where I sent the $25 in Bitcoin to someone else, which is one of the great things about blockchain, is you can actually prove that you sent money to someone else without really revealing the identity of the other person. So that's pretty cool that we can do that, but just having you all watch the channel means a lot to me. There's been a lot of great content. The views are continuing to go up. There's a lot more subscribers. The growth is continuing at an accelerated pace. It's not accelerating super quick, but it is accelerated, which is good, which is exactly what I expected at this point, given that we're putting out content on a relatively regular basis here. So if you've been liking the videos, please go back and like them if you actually like them. Those numbers actually help a lot with making the videos more relevant on searches and things like that. So I appreciate those of you who've already done that, and if you haven't and you want to, that's great. If you don't want to, that's fine too. But I did want to talk a little bit about the price. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been able to do a video about any TA or anything. Let me move my chart over here so we can get a little better picture of all the indicators. So yeah, this is the daily chart for Bitcoin. I'm actually looking at Bitfinex right now for another reason, but price has been going pretty straight up. We've bounced off the mid Bollinger Band twice. We've broken the 200-day moving average. We've gotten the golden cross, the 50-day over the 200-day. Everything's kind of pointing bullish. We had a huge bounce yesterday, which really canceled out a lot of the drop in the price over the last few days and made the indicators look like they could be pointing to another jump up. But I think we should all keep in mind that this has been a pretty extended rally with very insignificant dips so far. I mean, the biggest dip was here to here. That's probably not that much. We can actually measure that. Wait, I think that was the wrong tool. My apologies. Let's see. Yeah, that was only about 10-11% drop in the price. So not much of a drop here. Price has just been going steadily up. If you've shorted, you've probably not done too well, unless you're shorting very short term. But it does look like things are getting a little bit overextended. But like I said, things have bounced, and there is room for the price to continue to go up. I don't see this lasting for a whole lot longer. Eventually we will have to visit the bottom of the Bollinger Band, or at least the bottom area of it. You can see even when we had the very large rally back in 2019, when price continued to shoot up, you can see eventually we did come down towards the bottom Bollinger Band before eventually making another huge run up. In my opinion, we might be somewhere around in here. I think we have a move similar to this coming up, and some more sideways, hopefully a dip back to the bottom Bollinger Band and then moving up. Of course, there's no way to tell, but that's kind of what I'm expecting to happen, considering how long we went without visiting the bottom area of the Bollinger Band, without retesting any of these moving averages, really. We went right above them, right above the 100-day. We kind of tested it there a little bit, but didn't come back down to it. We didn't come back down to the 200-day. We haven't come back down to the 50-day since it was broken. So eventually, those are going to have to be retested, and if they hold, it's going to be very good. And of course, the halving is coming up, so things are looking very good right now. And there are dips to be expected, but they may not be just yet. I'm hoping we can get past what resistance is here, peak up, dip, come back down to the bottom of the Bollinger Band, test the 50-day, and then continue on up. But that is yet to be seen. On the weekly chart, things are continuing to look good. We move that back out of the way. You can see we are at the Bollinger Bands, at the top of the Bollinger Bands on the weekly, which means we can continue to ride those up if the price continues to stay bullish. But we are kind of peaking at the stochastic RSI, and it's not even at 100, so there might be a brief dip, but I would expect if it were, it would continue right back up pretty quickly as the RSI is still trending up. The MACD just recently flipped, and there's that bullish momentum continuing on the weekly for the Bitcoin. Now, I'm not going to go too far in depth with some of the other TA because there is some news I want to get to. So let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum, which has been on an absolute tear. You can see there a little bit on the weekly chart. It's had what appears to be 10 weeks in a row of green candles, and its indicators are very, very much maxed out, it appears. But it's in a very similar situation to Bitcoin, although its RSI got really overbought at this point, and you see there was a sharp correction and a bounce back. So it's kind of the same situation. We haven't visited the bottom region of the Bollinger Band, but there's still not much of a reason to expect that it would do that just yet. So you just got to be patient when you're looking for this. The trend has obviously been bullish, and we've had the golden cross on it as well. So really, there might be a short to look for soon. It's hard to say if that's actually just yet. I kind of expect there to be something just like with Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Litecoin as well. It's very similar, although it reacted a little bit more severely and hasn't bounced as strongly. But honestly, these are all looking the same. The key thing, though, is with these is looking at their Bitcoin ratio, which has been absolutely astounding. Of course, Ethereum has been outgaining Bitcoin on the days that Bitcoin has been gaining percentage-wise, so it has gained more versus Bitcoin, thus it's worth more in terms of Bitcoin as it was before. And it's also had a golden cross. Actually, both of them crossed, it looks like, within a matter of a few days over the 200. So it's looking really good, and it looks like dips might be for buying on Ethereum versus Bitcoin. And one other one I want to look at is Basic Attention Token, because this is one I've been looking at for a long time. It has not shot up like a lot of the altcoins have, but it has had steady growth. You can see there's a pretty consistent line here moving it up. Something like that, you can tell it's steadily moving up, so hopefully it will have its moment like many of the other altcoins where it shot up many percentage in one day, like 20-30% or more. And it actually looks like it might be rounding up to do that again, like the other coins appear to be right now. But like I said, it's hard to say because they've been moving up for quite some time now. All right, so that's pretty much does it for the TA. I don't really want to get into it a whole lot. I've probably went on a little bit longer than I really wanted to. We're 8 minutes into the video. I wanted to talk about some other things before the end of the video. Most importantly, I want to make sure you all got the giveaway information out there. I did want to talk about the ICO for, what was it, Enigma, ENG tokens. This is something else that is also settled with the SEC. They had to pay a ton of money, register their tokens as securities. They had a $500,000 penalty. They sold their tokens in 2017, and the reason they were deemed securities most likely has to do with the fact that they did not have their mainnet. And you can see here, the settlement allows the Enigma team to focus on its actual protocol, he said, including the launch of its mainnet last week. So they sold tokens on Ethereum so that they could fund a project to build a network that didn't exist. And the SEC has been pretty adamant that that means it's a security. If you're taking money to build something that doesn't already exist, then that is clearly a security, is what they've said. So they definitely did the right move by settling and moving on. It says they are looking for legally compliant avenues to swap their Ethereum token that they sold for their SCRT token from their new network. And that's a little bit interesting that they can't really do that legally. I'm not sure the reason for that, but it says their lawyers and their legal counsel, I should say, are looking for that. But for the time being, our team is not able to proceed, which must be very unfortunate for the people who bought into those tokens, not being able to actually participate on the network that they plan to. But probably the biggest news that I've seen come out in the recent days is that Coinbase is now a principal member of Visa, which, as you might know, Coinbase actually offers debit cards for its members who are in the UK, which the debit card basically allows you to sell your Bitcoin to fund a debit card and make transactions basically with your cryptocurrency. So it's a card that you can use wherever Visa is accepted, and it converts your Bitcoin or your other cryptocurrency into fiat, USD, whatever, euro, and it allows you to transact with that on the Visa network. So that's pretty cool, but being made a principal member of Visa is an especially big deal because it opens up a lot of more opportunities. You can say here it offers them the ability to offer additional services, but also to operate in more markets. And hopefully that means the US, because right now I believe BitPay is one of the major ones. I think that's right. I don't use them. I've looked into it. I'm not really a huge fan of it. I don't really trust whoever does it right now. But if Coinbase were to do it, especially being a principal member of Visa, I would be much more likely to participate with that. And just getting involved with more markets just promotes the actual use of cryptocurrency and blockchain more. So that's generally a good thing for those of us who are looking in the direction uh, and investing in this area, because the more it actually has use cases and the more it can actually be converted and used, saved until you need to use it as a store of value is something good. One of the other articles that came up that I also agree on is that we don't really need to worry so much about the end users right now, because the back end of blockchain still really needs to be worked out, especially just cryptocurrencies in general. Using blockchain to store data really isn't that big of a concern for most people. Enterprises can use blockchain just fine now to store data and access their data. And there's not really a whole lot of use cases where it's much better than a centralized database. But for those who do it, it's not a huge deal to access the data from the blockchain once they put it on there. What is hard is for end users to actually participate on a network that isn't centralized like these enterprise blockchains, because they need an interface to the system that allows them to interact with that system in a way that is very easy, so that they don't have so much responsibility themselves. I know a lot of people have a hard time keeping up with private keys for their particular cryptocurrencies that they like. Losing those is a very bad ordeal for many people. So coming up with more and more solutions to help people keep control of their coins or their crypto and keep it away from centralized systems like people storing their coins on an exchange would be good. There's also services that people need to come up with. The way that you actually spend or transact with cryptocurrencies obviously needs to be improved. It's a very clumsy process right now. It's not nearly as simple as just swiping a card like with Visa or MasterCard or American Express. It's a little bit more convoluted than that. Even with the crypto debit cards, I believe you still have to sell your Bitcoin or tell it to sell your Bitcoin for you, I believe, is an option when you do that. So there is still some effort involved, and it is a bit of a hurdle to overcome at first, especially for people who don't understand it. But as the general public becomes more aware and learns about these things through more and more cycles, it should be easier for people to learn, but it's very important for people to create products that are very intuitive so that people don't have to learn so much. But for those early adopters, like those of us who are already into these things, we are much further ahead on the learning curve. So these things that seem simple to us are actually huge roadblocks for people who have no idea about what's going on. Now, I've rambled on a lot in this video, but I just wanted to let you all know that I'm back. There's a giveaway. I did a little bit of TA, talked a little about the news, and there is a new video coming out tomorrow. And it's a indicators explained video about the MACD indicator. Those have been doing better than I expected, so I did another one of those. I still haven't had quite enough time to work on some more scripts. I'm going to go through some of the ideas that people have sent me and see if I can't put something out there that's useful for the next video in that series. So if you have any ideas for indicators you'd like to see explained in that series, please leave a comment. Or if you want to see something done with PineScript in the tutorial series, leave a comment to let me know what you'd like to see there. But otherwise, just check out the TradingView profile where we have the ideas and scripts. I haven't really been posting any ideas because I've been so busy. I don't really post a whole lot of ideas anyway, but we also have the scripts. And of course, if you like the videos, please like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The giveaways will continue, hopefully, as the channel grows. We have had continued growth, so I do expect that to continue. So the more you watch the videos, the more YouTube will recommend it, and the more giveaways we can do, which I enjoy doing. I enjoy getting people involved with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general. So I really appreciate you watching the video, taking the time to sit through about 17 and a half minutes now of me talking. But I appreciate it, and thank you, and have a nice day.